All right, so before we start this, I'm going to give my subscribers a moment to get used to this. Done? Okay, on to the video. What's going on, everyone? Manuel here, and today's video is going to be a bit on the quick side as I've been pretty busy working on my car and putting in some uni work, hence the late Sunday upload. We'll get into that a bit more towards the end as it is incredibly relevant to today's upload since this was supposed to come out Friday for EMS week, but that ended yesterday. So a bit late. But to my fellow EMTs out there working during this pandemic, hope you're all staying safe and that management splurged on something more than just gas station subs. And if not, well, at least we're not being called ambulance drivers as often this week. It feels weird saying that since, as mentioned several times this past month, I myself am an EMT, pushing gurneys, passing tape, saving a life maybe once in a blue moon, but mostly waking up at odd hours of the night for calls ranging from holy shit, what the fuck, to tummy aches. And all for minimum wage these past 6 years. As they say, the pay may be shit, but at least the hours are long. Given the pandemic, I do want to step outside my comfort zone and post a compilation of video clips and photos I've taken through the years. Mostly when I'd be out doing some street shooting, so don't assume I'm just carrying around a camera on the job and shoving it into patients' faces. HIPAA laws are no joke. But I will be including some photos of my grandparents when they visited the ER, just to give this video something of a narrative. And no worries, they're fine now, though it was scary at the time. My grandmother had a blood clot in her leg, which thankfully they caught in time, and my grandfather was developing an open wound infection, which thankfully he listened to me and took his ass to the ER. You're not going to see anything wild here, just some sporadic moments and scenes I'm comfortable with sharing for the time being, though I will censor any company logos even if it ruins the photo, just because it does feel weird showing where I work. And I'm not too sure they'd be happy with me openly telling the public about my grievances in relation to why I think a union would improve working conditions. They could threaten to sue me or at least fire me since I am an at-will employee. And funny thing, I would probably end up making more on unemployment than I am now as a full-time employee. So yeah, there is that, but given I am incredibly pissed at how my coworkers are being treated during this pandemic, especially when the company seems to care more about union busting than our safety, I'm just going to go ahead and post this. So, I don't know, maybe it's tame, but it feels really weird after being silent on it for years on end to just start talking about how the job conditions are crap. So, as I've said before, please do not thank me or call me a hero. This is just a job, and martyrdom was not part of the job description. So I don't want to be placed on a pedestal as it, in a way, ignores the fact that I am human, living below the poverty line despite working a full-time job, and did not sign up to treat patients with shit PPE policies that included reusing equipment or lowering standards. A thought I'm sure you've heard echoed by several others in these past few months, which I hope doesn't get lost when all of this is over. Many of us are out here just trying to provide for our families and pay bills. So regardless of if you think this pandemic is overblown or not, the situation has highlighted how EMS and other frontline workers essentially have to look out for one another. Hence all the union talk you've probably heard across the board. And of course, in case this gets back to my employer or anyone over me, everything stated in this video is my personal opinion and does not reflect the views of the company, management, or the people who signed their checks. I'm just some asshole boo-boo bus driver who got lost on his way to college. With all that out of the way, let's just get on to the video. Doing the checkout. Alright folks, that was the video. Thank you all for joining me, and don't forget to stop by next week for some street photography. For anyone else just here to see me vent, you were warned. Okay, so for everyone jumping on from last week's video, my COVID test results came back and they were negative. So hooray! Although my employer did not cover the shifts, I was required to be off per my doctor. So I have been focusing more on screen printing this month to supplement the lost income. Hence the lack of and delayed uploads this May, which I do apologize for. Hopefully I get to a point, where I can focus more on this channel and make a solid income from prints. But for now, it's patches and pushing gurneys. So while this video is dedicated to EMS and my time as an EMT, I do still want to thank you all for coming out here to watch, commenting, or messaging me on Instagram. It may all seem like a small gesture, but as I've said before, this channel and all of you keep me grounded. My growth here helps me feel as though I'm making some progress in life, at least outside of the more traditional standards. And since it's nice, it's just nice when I begin to, recognize some of the faces in the comments, not to, knock on a college degree or well-paying careers, but that didn't work out for me. And although I don't want to give up on it or undermine my current job, this is a nice artistic release, even if the YouTube algorithm grind, keeps me from working on some more experimental pieces. It's good that I'm being pushed to stay consistent, and I'm just happy to know that regardless of what happens outside of this channel, there's some people here that have some at least passing concern for me. Yeah, but as it is EMS week and we are 2.5 weeks away from that union election, I did want to abruptly transition here and mention it really has been a strange week. The company is literally shelling out misinformation about the union, taking down flyers, playing the victim, while simultaneously thanking us for what we do. It is bizarre. Just as an example, this week, one guy was giving us shirts for EMS week while the other was taking down flyers inside our station as though we didn't notice. And they were doing this. Are you looking? Are you looking? It was like that. It was so obvious. So just in case this gets out and anyone out there from my company is watching, there aren't any initiation fees. Union dues are nowhere close to 100 or even $50 a paycheck. Taking down pro-union posters is illegal as it is protected under the NLRB Section 7. The union isn't even some entity we have no control over, at least the good ones. Rather, it is by definition an organized association of workers to protect and further our rights and interests. This vote would create a whole new local chapter made up of us. So it is in essence what we make of it. And while many may not care because they have their sights set on a nursing or PA or fire job, life happens and we don't always get out when we thought we would. So we might as well make the best of the time we have here. And if nothing else, we sure as fuck could use the protection. Because let's be real here. We're not essential to everyone except the people we actually help. And even then, it doesn't last. Management everywhere is showing their appreciation for us now when almost every employee at every agency who is taking this pandemic seriously has a story about how we've been fucked over by poor company preparation and or outright greed just this year and even before this pandemic. That is especially true if you work private EMS. I do not give a shit about whatever sob story your boss told you about low call volume, especially if they haven't even shown you those numbers. This pandemic just highlighted how quick most places are to risk our health and financial security in the name of saving their profits. The point is, we in EMS are seen as the bottom of the barrel in the medical field, with several of us reinforcing that belief without a second thoughts. And that needs to change. But enough of my soapboxing. Please stay safe out there. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, it is best to use this as a training scenario for the next time we have a similar situation where the general public ignores advice, healthcare workers are arguing about the severity of the situation, and our president suggested the cure lies in injecting household cleaners. And if you're watching this after 2020, realize whatever shit you say about unions is probably informed by a system founded on maximizing profit for the very people strong arming the country to reopen. I'm not saying there's never been a bad union, but I am saying it is incredibly rare to see a company look after its workers without someone forcing them to. Hence why we all see the same anti-union rhetoric on company profiles, and why Walmart will sometimes shut down stores whenever there's a whisper of it. Blah, blah, blah. See you all in the next video. Until then, please don't inject household cleaners into your arm. Okay, bye.